Wales have named the team that is going to get crushed by South Africa. I mean, name the team that's going to play South Africa at the Principality Stadium this weekend. Look, I take no pleasure in the plight of Wales. And I can't imagine how challenging it must be to get yourself up for a game again, knowing that in all probability you're going to lose, and probably lose quite handily, to the back-to-back world champions. I know every single one of the players that play for Wales, they're elite athletes after all. They will back themselves against their opposite number. But I'm sure even if they don't say it out loud, in their minds they will know they're on a bit of a hide into nothing here. Lambs to the slaughter is a phrase that's been used, and it does feel that way. Warren Gatland has named his side to play against the world champions, and he shows some changes. But before I get into all of those, before I get into reminding you about the Springbok team, before I get into my combined 23-man squad, well, firstly, let me remind you, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. Give the video a thumbs up, leave your comment down below, hit subscribe. But before I get into the teams, I guess the question is this going to be Warren Gatland's final selection as Wales head coach? My best guess would be yes. I think it is the end of the road. And look, let's just be absolutely clear. Warren Gatland has nothing to prove as a coach. He is one of the greats, whether that's in the Premiership, whether that's in the Six Nations, internationally, certainly with Wales, the greatest coach they've ever had by a country mile. You've got a set of gates named in his honour at the Principality Stadium, but it may be the only direction. He may only be going in through those gates one more time. As head coach anyway. He was convinced to come back to Wales with big money, knowing that a load of his players were going to be going. He did well in the World Cup, but then lost a generational bunch of players, and what remains is not great. And, you know, this is not Warren Gatland that's driven Wales to the position they're in. This is decades of mismanagement by the WRU, fundamental issues. And so if Warren Gatland does go, he will not be blamed for the plight that Wales are currently in, but it will be a sad way for it to end. I think it will end after this game. Certainly he looks like a man that is broken. He looks like a man that would be quite happy to go. And honestly, I'm looking at him thinking, you don't need this, Warren Gatland. You're 61 years of age. Your family, your children are back in New Zealand. Just go. Just go. So I think that's probably what will happen. I'll be surprised if he's in charge by the Six Nations. I think it's probably just a conversation that he needs to have to come to a financial settlement with the WRU. I mean, it was big money that brought him back to Wales. I know it's a cynical and cold thing to say, but it probably is just as simple as, if you want me to go, I want a bit of cash. And fair enough. As for the team Warren Gatland has picked, what do you make of it? Comments down below. I mean, you're going up against the back-to-back world champions. Do you know what? We've got a load of young guys. Let's make sure we've got our experienced heads on the field. What? No Aaron Wainwright? No Gareth Anscombe? Huh? What? I mean, I don't believe they're injuries. So it seems like the changes that have been made are tactical, with the exception of Adam Beard, who is injured. Chris Chunza coming up from the bench into the starting lineup, and Freddie Thomas possibly getting a debut off the bench, which is great for him. But Rio Dyer comes back into the 15. Sam Costello comes back into the 15. Tame Plumtree comes back into the 15. What do we read into those selections? Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, well, firstly, having said that you're losing some experience, that is one stat. Have you seen it? The stat that's been flying around? The entire Welsh 23-man squad, all of these men, have between them 334 international caps to their name. And they are up against the South Africa side, whose bench, and I'll come to them in a minute, has nearly 100 caps more than that on their own, 431. It's mind-boggling, the challenge that faces Wales. If they did manage to cause an upset, would it be the biggest upset in the game? It'd be right up there, wouldn't it, with South Africa-Japan in 2015? It would have to be. Obviously, the game's not quite as significant as a World Cup match, but that's the scale of the challenge that waits them. What type of a game plan do you read into this selection then? Rio Dyer, one of the things he's brilliant at is chasing kicks. He's like a dog after a ball in the park. And Tom Rogers was very good under the high ball for Wales against Australia. Blair Murray moving to fullback, that's an interesting selection. Could backfire, can win it, not in. But hey, so I wonder if Wales are going to kick the ball a lot more, be a bit more pragmatic, take some territory. Personally, I hope that's what they do. I've actually got a feeling, because he's doubled down with the young players, I actually think he may double down with a loose attacking style of play, which could backfire spectacularly. It might play into South Africa's hands, who, well, defensively they are ace. Going through the team then, fine, it's the best front row you can select. There's an argument that Nicky Smith should be starting for his scrummaging, but having someone like that on the bench is quite good. Second row, Will Rowlands and Chris Chunza, fine. Freddie Thomas on the bench. I don't know who's going to be like bossing the line out, because I'm not sure neither of those guys are known for that, and Adam Beard is. Back row, James Botham, Jack Morgan, Tane Plumtree, good players, just not big enough. And I also think, I don't like Tommy Raffel on the bench. I would be starting him. I think against Australia, Wales missed out on that breakdown threat, slowing up the ball. And I think Tommy Raffel is the best in the Wales squad at doing that. And I would pick him for that. But there you go. He's on the bench. Ellis Bevan and Sam Costello are not Thomas Williams and Gareth Ainscombe, but let's see how they go. Ben Thomas and Max Llewellyn, fine. Rio Dyer and Tom Rogers, good. And Blair Murray, let's see. At fullback, that'll be interesting. Bench, okay, that is a bench of international rugby players. Yeah, God, I'm not getting stuck into Wales. Honestly, I take no pleasure in this whatsoever. I want a strong Wales. I want as many top teams to be as good as they can, for the good of the Six Nations, for the good of these November tests, for the good of rugby. Full stop. They are up against, it's a formidable South Africa team, and I've already mentioned the 431 caps on the bench, 12 World Cup winners' medals between the 8 of them. It is frightening depth, with Cameron Hanekom to come in and make his debut against the nation of his grandmother's birth, which is an interesting little subtext. Not a full ball Springbok team, but every Springbok team is a full ball team now, because Rassie Erasmus has basically got to the point where it doesn't matter who he picks. It doesn't change the performance level. Numbers 11 to 15 are exactly as they were against England. The halfbacks in the back line have changed. The Hendrickse brothers. You've got Peter Steph du Toit's flown home to South Africa, I believe. Does that mean he won't be at the World Player of the Year awards? I guess so. I mean, I think he should win it. Whether someone's at the awards or not, that shouldn't and won't change who wins the award, will it? It better not. Anyway, but yeah, Elric Lowe comes into the back row, which is otherwise unchanged. 2 changes in the second row, with Franco Moster and Jean Klein both getting a go, with Etzebeth and Sneeman on the bench waiting to do their business. Johan Grobbelaar, not initially selected for the tour, but he came in after that injury to Jan Hendrik Wessels. He gets a chance to play and prove what he's about, as does Thomas du Toit, up against another Bath tight head prop, and Oxen Che, who's okay at rugby, I hear. He's all right. I have done a combined 23-man squad. I have. And probably no surprise that there's 21 South Africans in it. If you were picking number 1 against number 1, Oxen Che against Gareth Thomas, it's a no-brainer. And down the team you go. Dewi Lake, I think he's one player. He's got a lot of international experience. He'll go on the British and Irish Lions tour, and he'll be challenging to be in a matchday squad for that. I think he's very good. There's just not the quality around him. I've put Tommy Raffel ahead of Hanekom. Hanekom is a rare and very special talent, but hasn't played any international rugby yet. So on that basis, I've gone for Tommy Raffel. As you can imagine, I think this is going to be a handy South Africa win. The psychological challenge, as much as anything, is the interesting one, isn't it? Knowing that you're going to, in all probability, lose. And equally, I guess, from South Africa's point of view, knowing that if you turn up and play, you will win and win well. That there's a danger of complacency, but I'm absolutely certain that won't be allowed to happen, as much as anything, because the depth of South Africa's squad means that one loose performance and you're gone. So they're going to be turning up and wanting to put in an 80-minute performance and show why they deserve to be in the next South Africa squad, which is a scary prospect for Wales, because they're going to get a very motivated South Africa team that they've won their games, but they haven't actually played particularly well by their high standards yet. Will we see it in Cardiff this weekend? I suspect we probably will. As for Wales, I just did this. So Rio Dyer, just to give you and thinking about the psychological challenge, Rio Dyer, one of the more experienced Welsh players with 23 caps, his last 12 months of playing rugby for club and country, he has played 27 matches. He has lost 24 of them. He's only won one of his last 14 games, and that was against Ospreys. I think it was at the end of September. Winning becomes a habit, losing becomes a habit. I just worry for the kind of psychological fragility of this Welsh team if South Africa get on top early, and they could then crumble away. And it could be quite a sad end to what I expect to be Warren Gatland's reign. My thoughts, leave me yours down below. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.